The New York Times did an interview with our frail, demented, drag queen-esque style president, who seems to be wearing more and more makeup and more into his Marie Antoinette era. And they did an interview with him and asked him what could stop him. Pop up the headline, Kylie. Peter Baker says, asked if there are any limits on his global powers, Trump tells the New York Times, yeah, there is one thing, my own mortality, my own mind. It's the only thing that can stop me, he adds. I don't need international law. And so this is one of the more honest moments I've read from him in an interview in quite some time. And he speaks about his own mortality quite a bit. You know, he sends the fundraising things to his cult. Am I going to get into heaven? And, send me $3,500 to help me curry favor with JC, Jesus Christ, to get into heaven, blah, blah. So knowing that a president said this, a president that has usurped Congress, gone around them to use our money to invade Venezuela, and then a president who is completely fine with the terrorizing and murder of a woman in Minneapolis that just dropped her daughter off. And we could go through and through, alligator Alcatraz, all the crazy shit he's done. You would think that the opposition and the resistance to this on the Democratic side would be so loud and so proud, that you would be so proud to be 100% against this. And I want to play for you all in Pumps 2 videos of Chuckles Schumer yesterday. Play the first video, Kylie.
To use the appropriations process either for Venezuela or now certainly for ICE. I mean, are you afraid of another government shutdown?
It does seem like you guys are not angling for a fight on ICE.
Why
Is
not?
that fair to say?
Why not use the appropriations process to rein in ICE, Leader Schumer?
Okay, and the next video.
Will you guys will this be a red line in this upcoming funding fight? A lot of people want to know how you guys plan to do this, and will we do a shutdown? Will it be a red line, ICE, restricting ICE funding in the funding fight?
Will you do anything to...
Tim Walz said down as governor, how can we be trusted to investigate?
Okay, crickets from Chuckles. A American citizen was terrorized and killed by an ICE terrorist. Obviously, the Democratic response should be, we will no longer fund this organization. This organization is terrorizing American citizens, is acting like a criminal terror organization. And there he is with his head down, with his donor money in his fucking pocket, walking through there because he is the controlled opposition. It infuriates me that this man is not only the Senate minority leader, but that this man is even in government. The more and more he fails to rise, the more I hate his guts. I truly cannot stand this man. I hold him to a higher account than I do these MAGA Republicans. I have no expectation of little Smokey, the little smoky-eyed sociopath. I have no expectation for him to be anything other than a prick. I have no expectation of Donald Trump to be anything other than a washed-up old drag queen terrorizing everybody he can and listening to Phantom of the Opera while he scarfs down McDonald's. I have no expectation of these people. But Chuck Schumer, you're supposed to be a Democrat, but you're not. You're a corporatist who will not stand up for your country, its citizens, or even your own legacy. You will go down in the history books as the worst resistor on the planet. You make France look brave. I mean, this is just unbelievable.
He's an enabler to authoritarianism. I find it interesting and stunning that Congress, Republicans in Congress, passed a resolution to limit Trump in Venezuela. One Chuck Schumer, Tom Tillis, Republican, came out and said, we're not going to, let anybody else from DHS through until Kristi Noem comes to this body. Why wasn't Chuck Schumer saying that? And I know we've said it, But Mitch McConnell, when he ran the minority in the Senate, he had so much power. He did so much. Chuck Schumer is a disgrace. He is not helping. So it is time for him to sit down and continue to shut the fuck up.
Well, he has shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
that's the one good thing he's good about. He needs to resign. He needs to resign, and he needs to pull out from this position. And AOC or somebody else in New York needs to run against him. He needs to completely remove himself from the Senate. And if you want to know why, like it's so obvious that this is the fight of our life, that this should be the Democrats' defining moment to stand up as the anti-corporate party, the anti-greed party, the pro-worker party, the pro-freedom party, the pro-civil rights party, the anti-war, all of the stuff. Here is a photo of Chuck at an event in March of 2025. And the Donald Shaw tweets, here's Chuck Schumer. And he asks, is he holding a check? Because he has a rectangular piece of paper in his hand. At a mid-February fundraiser hosted by Invariant, the top lobbying firm for both SpaceX and Palantir. The woman in the photo is Invariant CEO Heather Podesta. And if you want to know why Chuck Schumer won't stand up for you, if you want to know why Chuck Schumer won't stand up for workers, if you want to know why he walked through the halls of Congress right there and didn't answer and doesn't go on the record and say, you're goddamn right, I'm going to vote to defund ICE. It needs to be abolished. No American should be terrorized like this. If you want to know why, it's because SpaceX and Palantir all benefit from ICE and government contracts. And so does Chuck Schumer. And Chuck Schumer is a corporate Democrat. He's probably one of the ones that suggested that the DNC spike the autopsy, that would rather listen to the losers at Deloitte than listen to the voters and listen to the American public. And these type of corporate Democrats are finding out that there has been a great awakening going on since the last election. And a lot of the base of the Democrats are completely moving away from any and every politician that takes corporate PAC money, any and every Democratic politician that has a problem looking at the evidence and listening to Israeli human rights group experts and saying, yes, we have funded a genocide. We have a problem voting for liars that are prostitutes that take money to lie to the American public. And Chuck Schumer is that. Chuck Schumer is a disgrace as a senator, and he's a disgrace as an American. It goes beyond just a senator. Anybody who has that kind of power and that kind of voice that sits there and abdicates it is no better than Moses Mike Grinder Johnson. There's no daylight between the two of them. And Hakeem Jeffries does the exact same as Chuck Schumer with just a wee bit more spice. Play the clip.
They aren't buying it as it relates to the
Leader Jeffries, why not use that was a murder in Minnesota? Do you believe that was a murder?
I issued a statement. The statement speaks for itself.
Restricting ICE a red line in the funding fight. Must that be part of any funding bill?
Our focus right now, in terms of the appropriations bills, are getting the 3 bills that are going to be on the floor today over the finish line, and then we'll turn to the Homeland Security.
But why not use the appropriations process to rein in ICE, Leader Jeffries?
Pause it. I want to say to Hakeem Jeffries, when you are in a congressperson, you have to walk and chew gum at the same time.
Right.
You have to work on restoring Obamacare, and you have to work on when you see a government-funded terrorist organization called ICE run by somebody who is authorizing all sorts of crimes, which makes her a criminal, Kristi Noem. You have to say, you're goddamn right, we're not funding it. You're goddamn right. We are going to not appropriate funds, and we might lose that battle, but we want it to be on the record.
Right.
Continue with the clip.
No, what I'm focused on right now, Chad, is to make life better for the American people by extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits, which, by the way, a lot of folks in this institution believe was not possible. But Democrats made clear before the government was shut down that we were in this fight until we win this fight on behalf of the American.
Is Renee Nicole Good's life better, Hakeem? Is her life better, Hakeem? Okay, continue it.
Why not
Cancel the cuts, lower the costs, save health care. That's our objective.
Should ICE be abolished? Should ICE be abolished?
But why not use
what
the?
about calls to impeach Secretary Noem and the concerns about her?
Kristi Noem is a
truthfulness?
complete and total disgrace. I've said repeatedly, she's a stone cold liar. She's corrupt. She does not deserve to be the Homeland Security Secretary. We'll figure out the accountability mechanisms at the appropriate.
But why not use appropriate?
Okay. Hakeem, that last part was good. She is a stone cold liar, but you have to take it further. You're dealing with ruthless, relentless psychos. And you have to take it further, Hakeem. You have to say, you're goddamn right. We're going to look at everything. And if we can impeach her, we'll impeach her. If we don't have the votes, we have our voices. If we don't have the votes, we have our record to record in history that I, Hakeem Jeffries, walked and chewed gum at the same time, that I stood up for people's health care and I stood up for their right not to be harassed in the streets by their federal government that indiscriminately shoots people. So yeah, I can do 2, 4, 5, 6 things at a time. And I'm looking for my voice to be heard all day, every day. And I'm looking for my name historically to be opposing every single fascist form of fuckery that these guys throw at the American electorate. That is leadership. You need to obviously do everything in your power to whip everybody into shape. And you may not win, but you will win the hearts and minds of the Democratic base and independent voters to see that somebody relentlessly and ruthlessly fights. Yeah, you might not have the votes, but there is a record and you have your voice. And any corporate money, Hakeem, that you take, you need to atone for it and give it back. This is the problem. This is the cancer. You need to go on record and confirm what Israeli human rights groups have determined, as well as every other human rights group, that a genocide has taken place in Gaza. But you seem to be more concerned with your donors. And you give us a little few nuggets there, but you're the leader in the House, the Senate minority leader. And you need to lead without any form of contamination from these corporations that also gave more money to the fascists to get them elected than they did to you. That makes you compromised.
2 things really stick out to me in this. Number one, it is a problem when you have both the House leader and the Senate minority leader for the Democrats, that reporters have better ideas about accountability than our leaders do. That struck me. And then what also struck me is Democrats are bad at politics. They cannot swoop in and take the urgency of this, mimic the timing of this absolute horror and stand up to it in full force. And I agree with you that ACA is a big deal, but we have to do 2 things at once. But the reason you lose elections is because you have no urgency. You cannot capitalize on timing. And so those 2 things, I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? That's your response? Like, get Kristi Noem's ass in there, impeach her. Like, when reporters have better ideas than our leaders, I'm concerned.
Yeah. And the thing is it's not even that great of an idea. It's the obvious evolution of that. If we have an agency that we're funding that is terrorizing citizens and now murdering them, shouldn't we not fund that agency anymore? Like it is an obvious evolution of conflict resolution skills. With so much breaking news and so much misinformation, so much propaganda, it is so important to me that I educate myself each day with facts. I want the facts before I form an opinion. And this is why my go-to news site, my go-to app is Ground News. They're basically the Spotify of news, telling you who owns each outlet, where it leans politically, and whether you're reading original reporting or recycled messaging. Here's a prime example. One headline I see on this app is, just in, Kristi Noem reveals chilling new details of woman accused of running over ICE agent. After I read this headline, I can look on my app and it tells me this is a far-right publication and this story has very low factuality. Same subject, different headline. Tension is growing in Minneapolis. Protesters clashed with police after Renee Macklin Good was murdered in an ICE operation. It tells me that this headline comes from a left-leaning publication and that this article has very high factuality. So listener, join us by going to groundnews.com/IHIP to get 40% off the Ground News Vantage plan that we use every single day. They're subscriber funded. And my favorite part is that they are female founded. By subscribing, you're not only getting a tool we all need today, you're also supporting our work. That's Ground, GROUND, news.com/IHIP. It's linked right below in the show notes for easy access. And I want to leave you all with this. Here we have Trump. You know, he loves to do call-ins, you know, like what was that in the 80s, 90s? What was where you could call in pumps, the Delilah. So he loves to like have his Delilah moment. So here he calls into some nut job right winger and they're talking about Supreme Court seats. Like, I think he's already talked about, you know, he's probably going to kick Clarence out or Alito because they're older and shit. And he wants to put, you're not going to believe who he wants to put in. Play the clip.
Respected. Yeah.
So
no, those are all great names. Every one of those names is a great name. Now, Ted Cruz, the nice part about him is we get a 100%
For the Supreme Court?
approval. Every Democrat would vote yes, and every Republican would vote yes, because they would love to get him the hell out of the Senate, all of them. So that he's the only one that would be a guaranteed confirmation.
Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, he just confirmed that everybody hates Ted Cruz.
Right.
He said he would get 100% votes because even the Democrats would vote to confirm him, which they wouldn't. Some would. I'm sure Chuck Schumer would.
Oh, yeah.
And Cory Booker. But that even they would vote because they want him out of the Senate so bad. Everybody hates Ted Cruz. But the fact that he's already talking about Supreme Court seats, you know, before his exit and the acceleration of everything that is happening in this calendar year and what it's like January 9th. And, you know, we've just accelerated at this insane rate, really shows what Pumps was saying about urgency with the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party is, these establishment Democrats are going to go into these primaries and go into this election, and they're going to find out that the base has really changed, that the base has evolved. And when you are a Democratic preservationist, which I believe Hakeem Jeffries is, which I believe Chuckles Schumer is, and a lot of others, when you want to preserve the status quo that led to crushing defeats, to this moronic, incompetent, fascist, Nazi-style group of bottom-feeding dipshits, and you want to preserve the party that got their ass beat by these fucking ass clowns, hit the bricks. It's not your moment. Go into consulting. Go do something different. Go be a lobbyist, since you're all about executing their vision more than you are fighting for the American people. All right, that's all we have. Like, subscribe. Make sure you have subscribed. We've noticed that a lot of you that watch our shows all the time have not subscribed. So subscribe to this channel and we'll be back later with more news.